Hi everybody, welcome to Habit Hack number 63. It is Saturday, Saturday, May 23rd, and I am super excited because I am going, I'm reading Bill Bryson's new book, 2019 new book. It's called The Body. The Body. It's something, The Body. A Guide for Occupants, I think. But he is such a hilarious writer. Anybody who has, he wrote A Walk in the Woods, he wrote A Short History About Everything. I mean, he's a pretty prolific writer, but super witty English writer. I highly recommend his book. But anyway, he talked about this really cool thing in his book. And I just wanted to share it with you because I thought it was kind of interesting for Habit Hack number 63. So, oxygen and hydrogen are two of the lightest elements on the periodic table. Yet, we are made up of 61% oxygen and 10% hydrogen. That's like 72% of the lightest elements, yet when they bind, they create one of the heavier elements, one of the heaviest, not the heaviest, but one, it's in the heavy elements, or matters, I guess. Water. Interesting, right? So you have these two light elements, they bind, and when they're bound, they create us. A good 70% of us were made of water. So I just thought that has been true for so many things. You know, I think that the studies they've done on draft horses and the competitions of draft horses, that's like they found out that one draft horse can actually pull, I don't know, however many thousand pounds. But they said, well, if we combine two draft horses, how much could two draft horses? Would it be a little bit more than double of what their max individually could be? And actually what they found was three times as much. So together, teamed up, they actually could pull a whole third more than they could separately, collectively separately. So also, I just think about relationships. You know, a lot of times relationships, two people are oftentimes better than one, right? That's from the Bible. You know, I think of coffee. You have coffee, it's kind of bitter by itself. You add cream and sugar, and it's a delicious miracle, just like the binding of hydrogen and oxygen. Well, maybe not. Some people don't agree with that one. But I just wanted to say that this idea of habit hack number 63, it has to do with this sort of same phenomena. Some of you are to the point where you're going to stall. Oh, I forgot to tell you what habit hack number 63 is. It's called, I forgot. I wrote it on whatever, who cares? It's called getting past the stall. That's what it is. Getting past the stall. So for those of you who have started, I'm telling you, this has been a long week, and it is just like this day is dragging on. I got home and my neighbors, I don't know why they turn their music on. They're probably in between music, and I have the best neighbors ever. They always invite me over, and I just feel so bad because I was so tired, and I had all my habits to do and all my chores to do, and some other extra work to do. So it's like now I'm so tired, I just want to go to bed. But what was I gonna say? I don't know. This is the kind of day it is. This is the kind of habit hack it is. But no, this is a real one. I promise you. So habit hack. It's going to be some stuff from Anders Ericsson again, because he wrote Peak. So the science behind peak performance, something. I'm terrible with titles, but Anders Ericsson. It's an older book. It's old. The New Science of Elite Performance. It's close enough. But he talks about how everybody has like a natural ceiling, and to push past that ceiling, it takes quite a few things. But it takes the motivation, right? So that's what in the beginning I said, you have to have a habit that you're really excited about. Because once you hit that ceiling, it's a perceived ceiling. It's not a real ceiling. Just like we talked about, habit hack 61, 62, 63. These are all perceptions. They're not real. But when we hit a perceived ceiling, especially if you're doing workouts or you're doing strength, a lot of times runners, right, they'll hit the wall. And when you can push past that wall, that is when you get some some serious growth. But to get past that wall, you have to have the motivation to push past that plateau. You also have to have deliberate practice, intense deliberate practice. So I wanted to just bring back my little guy. In the beginning, if you're starting a habit, and just think, for those of you who are not starting a habit, you are missing out, because we're moving along and look at time is passing and you could have done already so much in the time since, I've started reminding you guys. So just jump on the bandwagon. Come on, don't be dragging your feet. But anyway, so frequency, if you're brand new, you want to start with frequency. You build up a tiny bit of endurance, but then when you get a plateau, you're gonna have to introduce intensity, intense deliberate practice. Now, Erickson talks about quite a bit about the rest in between practice. So he studied, I think I told you guys in another habit hack, chess players. And so in professional violinists, they would practice, like intense practice, for about an hour and a half a day, if my memory serves me correctly. And that doesn't seem like a lot. Now, that's not all the practice they would do. That is like deliberate, intense practice. And that is so cognitively exhausting. So we talked a lot about how there's limited glucose stores. You don't have 50 million units of glucose, just like me. I'm so tired today. I'm barely making it through this video. But so you don't have that. So you have to, you can't, if you're going to be intense, you can't have long endurance intensity practice. It's going to be much shorter. Now, an hour and a half might be long for you, but for a professional athlete, an hour and a half of practice is not a long time. I mean, they can practice for hours and hours and hours. I was thinking of athletes too. A lot of times, so when he says you have this intense practice and then you need rest to recover, so Erickson talks about you have to have recovery. A lot of times, the novice, we're like, recovery, some beers and some TV and hang out and do nothing. But if you're going to be at a peak performance of something, recovery is oftentimes active. So you think about an athlete or any kind of athlete, when you have intense exercise or an intense training session, then oftentimes your recovery is going to be maybe stretching or some high rep, low intensity exercise to flush your muscles out so that the lactic acid doesn't build up. The lactic acid that did build up can flush out of your muscles. Or maybe instead of doing sprints, you're going to just do light jog or light weights, whatever it is. But the active rest is for recovery. It's not that you do nothing. And then the third thing, I think I wrote them down. So the third thing you need to do is you have to have feedback. So this is a little bit on. So if you're starting this, just stick with this. Do it every day. Make it fun, make it frequent. But if you're about 2 months in, 3 months in, whatever, or if you're kind of an expert-ish at something and you're working on something new, a new aspect of it, this is the difficult part where you have to get feedback, a feedback loop. And so Erickson talks a lot about, that's when I said coaches work, but you can also be your own coach. So if you don't, let's say you struggle with getting or asking or affording the professional feedback, you can absolutely check yourself. Now, one of the things that I often do is videotape, and then I can critique, especially stuff like guitar or musical instruments. You can videotape yourself. You can use a metronome as feedback. If you are in Spanish, I just try to talk to other people. That's immediate feedback. They're going to tell you what's wrong, what's right. Reading, I'm always working on my grammar and all of that with my Elevate app, and reading now also is feedback, because you start to see, proper reading, not just whatever junk mail, but reading high quality literature or high quality books, and then recognizing and noticing some of that stuff. So all of that is feedback. So these are the things you need. You need intense deliberate practice. This is if you're gonna get past a stall. We all have it, right? Even weight, right? You get that stall and you're just like, oh, I'm at the same weight, for people who weigh themselves still. Or strength, you're just stuck and you need something to kind of push past. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Intense, deliberate practice is always uncomfortable, and it's always pushing past your comfort zone. Short, active recovery. Now, active recovery means like stretching or learning more about it, but it's short. It's not forever. You're not recovering forever, but it's just enough to recover over that. Sometimes that can not even be a day. You know, the recovery is just restful period. For maybe music, it's doing something fun, not something so regimented where it becomes a drudgery. And then expert feedback. So habit hack number 63, make sure you're getting that practice in. It's deliberate, because you know the whole saying, practice makes perfect. We know that that's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice of something dumb and not good just makes you dumb and not good. So, all right, what am I going to give away today? It goes along with what I just talked about. It is this old book, but it is really good. It's called Probot X. And expert, I don't know, I think that's what it does stand for, but and it's all workouts with one of those exercise ball. Everybody had one at one time in their life, and it has like those little soft kind of kettlebells, the ball kettlebells, and body weight. So it's all around athleticism, using balance and using kind of all the smaller muscles and core. It's pretty good. Anybody who likes workout books, this is yours. You just have to join this project, tag a couple people to let them know that you've joined this project, and come along on a year-long journey of making yourself better, chasing dreams with me. All right, I made it. I am going to go to sleep now. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.